Sunday, January the 27th, 2019. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 51. There we go. Almost botched that. I always botch the numbers. So I don't know why we go by the numbers, but we do. Welcome to the program. Have not done a Wrestleview Live since the TLC show. I can talk. So it's good to be back here on the YouTubes. Of course, Doug, Mike, and Victoria have been just killing it for us on YouTube here. By the way, if you are watching us live or you're watching us on delay, hit that subscribe button because we're trying to hit a magic number on here. And if you know anything about YouTube, you know what number we're trying to hit on here. So please do that. We would greatly appreciate it. So we are going to be, and hello to the chat room, which we are now putting on the screen because it's a very active YouTube chat room and we do talk about it, but I thought it would be nice to actually show it on the screen. So hello to Bronx, hello to Andrew. They've already been like chatting away and having discussions about the Royal Rumble before we even went live, so that's always good. But I am not alone. I am joined by Mr. Doug Lackey. Douglas, I stole your Wrestleview Weekly gimmick and I put the chat up on the screen, so we're gonna go with that for now. We're gonna see how it goes.
It is always good to recognize the tremendous peanut gallery that we have.
Yeah. I thought I would embrace it a little bit.
Because they are smart little nuts.
They sure are. They sure are, and people seem to like it. Also, I'm happy that we got your green screen working, even though occasionally when you bring your hand up or your arm or your beer that you just had, you can see the Royal Rumble logo through your beer.
Oh, there you go. I'm drinking some Royal Rumble beer. How about that?
Kind of on your forehead, too. I think it's the lighting, so we'll have to mess with that. Yeah. It's a little... I have to say, I
totally did not think about that when I grabbed this beer. I was like, this is a 10 ABV. Wait a minute. It's going to be Phantom beer.
It's going to be a Phantom beer. It actually would be funny if you started drinking Phantom stuff on the show. So we might have to embrace that bit. But we did get the green screen working on my end for, it's so strange. I'm looking at you on a green screen on my second monitor, but I'm staring at you with a Royal Rumble background. So it's kind of, it's intimidating and fun.
It's kind of a head trip, isn't it?
It's a little bit of a head trip. So at some point I need to do the green screen. I had a blue screen. I was going to try to use it for the Christmas show and that just failed miserably. So I tapped out on it.
Yeah. Blue screens are really tough to work with.
I have lighting issues. I'm in a new studio now and I have massive lighting issues. Like it's very dark on the webcam feed. So I got to figure that stuff out on my end, but we'll get that thing going.
My only problem is that as everyone knows, I'm recording this in my bedroom and there's not a lot of space to work with. And so seeing a green outline of me is because I'm so close to the screen.
Exactly.
In time.
By the way, Andrew just brings up the cold in the chat room. Did you know that it's going to be like -61 wind chill where I'm at on Wednesday? That is
no, I did not. I'm glad that I know that now. I will not bitch about where I live.
Well, you sent me a text earlier this week. You're like, oh man, like you must have saw like a weather report for the Midwest, and it's bad. It's where if Goosey's in the chat, it's probably even worse where he's at up north. So, because he's a state above me in Minnesota, so it's going to be terrible weather right now. Not a fan of the weather these days. So we need to talk about the Royal Rumble. I guess I should quickly, there's a lot that happened on the show. First of all, thank you to everybody that's hanging out late with us because the show went about an hour longer than they said it was going to. I believe they said it was going to end around 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and it just got done about 10 minutes ago. So midnight Eastern, which I sent you a text earlier. I'm like, I'm thinking midnight. And you were like, no way. And then
but suddenly I looked at my clock and started doing math. I was like, oh yeah, they're looking at midnight.
Yeah, they're going to be doing that. So, so we'll be, we probably won't be here super long because of the nighttime people having to get up. I don't know if I'm going to be doing much tomorrow because I got a snowstorm rolling through as we're doing this podcast live. So blizzard conditions and
I'll be going to work. It's going to be a nice balmy 40-something.
A balmy 40?
Or 40-something or 50-something? I don't know.
That's better than what we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
So a lot to unpack on this show. I don't have a ton to say about some of the title matches. There's a couple of the matches that I think deserve some in-depth conversation, but I think a majority of the people kind of want to talk about the Royal Rumble matches, and second year in a row of having two Rumble matches, a men's match, a women's match. Last year, the big highlight was the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, closing the show with that match. They did the opposite this year. How many, was it 3 matches in before they did the women's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at, it was about 3 matches before the Women's Rumble. Yes.
Okay, because we did Becky and Asuka to kick off the show. That was followed by the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, and then they did Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey before doing the women's match. So, obviously, we'll get into some of those matches, but so we graciously accepted the fact that we were incredibly wrong last year when we didn't think there would be a Women's Rumble match.
Yes,
which I think at the time was pretty fair to say, but since that has passed.
We can make up for that with a great victory. That we both said that the next Women's Rumble match they would not have any cameo appearances by previous females.
Yes. No, that's true. That's very true. I think we were, at the time, we were pretty confident in that. I don't know if it was, I know the chat display is being a little laggy. I don't know. Did you get lagged?
No, it's always like that.
It's always laggy like that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you'll always have a little bit of a lag.
Okay, I was just making sure because now it's showing up. So
don't flip out, guys. Don't let Adam know of anything that's technically wrong.
I know.
We're going to spend a half hour trying to figure it out.
I don't want to do it while we're live, honestly, but
no.
I did adjust how the length of when it shows up, but probably a lot of people listening don't give a shit. So we'll continue on.
Yeah.
So yeah, last year we both said, probably not going to do this. That doesn't seem like there's enough talent. I think our biggest complaint was we didn't want it to become a, let's always have surprise veteran talent because if you think now, granted, at the time the NXT UK brand was still in its infancy. Obviously NXT had a pretty thriving women's division, but that's a training ground, and you don't want to just toss people in a high marquee match that don't have a lot of experience. So our qualm was between the Raw brand, the SmackDown brand, and then trying to bring in surprise entrants. They just were going to run out. But this year was entirely different. This year there was no surprises in terms of like veteran talent, as far as I can remember, that happened tonight.
No,
I'll look back at the entrance. Okay, so I was right, but they did bring in more NXT girls though. I mean, I know Lacey Evans is now technically part of the main roster. They haven't said which brand she's going to be part of, but they did bring in some newer blood tonight. I mean,
Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, Xia Li, Candice LeRae, Katie Catanzaro, plenty of women from everywhere to be had. Rhea Ripley. So that was the big worry, and I talk a lot about wrestling at my work with other fans that I work with, in that they really thought that there weren't enough women to fill the Rumble that were not, Hall of Famers or legends or anything like that. But these were also people that didn't watch NXT a whole lot and didn't watch the Mae Young Classic.
Oh, sure.
So there's plenty to choose from to insert into a Women's Royal Rumble.
There was the, what's her name? Katie Catanzaro girl from American Ninja Warrior. She was there. She's in NXT now.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of new blood, which I think you could say, and we'll talk about the men's match, but, the same thing in the men's match. There was a lot of newer talent there from NXT or people that just got called up. So Shifty Gism was saying, I thought Toni Storm would be, and she was at the show. She was at NXT Takeover, but I don't know if they were just holding off on that one, not having her in the Rumble. Excuse me, but I saw the women's match getting a lot of flack on Twitter, and I'm kind of curious why. And if it's because people wanted more nostalgia stuff, if they didn't like the decision to have Becky enter the match, and because she wasn't originally part of it, although they kind of, as soon as Becky lost to Asuka to open the show, my Twitter feed was like, well, Becky's going to be in the Rumble tonight, and it was just like, that's confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
So they were definitely telegraphing it, and obviously they made the right call, because I think everybody wants to see Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, but they might toss Charlotte in there. But that's the money match that we didn't at the time maybe think was going to be that money, but then with the injury and all the hype and everything like that, it worked out good. But Do you like? I don't know if you saw the same kind of feedback, but I saw a lot of mixed reviews for the women's match when it was over with tonight, with Becky Lynch coming out the winner.
The mixed bag was basically like, why hasn't Becky come out yet? That's all the mixed bag really was. What's weird to me is the women's Rumble seemed way more organic than the men's Rumble, is the weirdest thing to me about this, in that the women's Rumble just seemed like there were lots of ladies coming in there that we did not expect, that just made it a lot more exciting. And what made it even more exciting was that hearing them describe who a Rhea Ripley is, who a Katie Catanzaro is, who a Candice LeRae, their descriptors, and giving us the background on all of these new ladies coming into the Rumble were way better than the ones for Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, which we had kind of last year with Andrade and Adam Cole. So the women's Rumble felt organic, but at the same time, the fluidity of the match was very lacking. I put it on the Twitter and the Facebook group. Natalya needs to adjust her frame rate. Okay, she is so lagging. And it seemed to happen a lot whenever, the women would gather around to the corners so that you could have your spots in the center of the ring. It just did not seem as fluid as you would hope it to be. But the women's match to me was still exciting, even though the Becky insertion was kind of telegraphed. But I have a problem when people bitch about the Royal Rumble. Okay, when you complain about what we can honestly say is the best pay-per-view of the entire WWE, the best pay-per-view of all of them.
Super fun.
If you complain about the Royal Rumble, there is genuinely something wrong with you. Okay, genuinely. Okay, if you're bitching about the Royal Rumble, you really should not be watching any of this product at all. Seriously.
People have very high expectations for this match, and I don't know if it's because honestly, if you think about all the gimmick stuff throughout the year, I mean, the Elimination Chamber has moments. If you're really into tag team wrestling, you might really get into the Survivor Series elimination stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, everything at WrestleMania is epoch because of just how they've marketed that show that way for, I would say, since we started doing the VIP section. It really felt like around that time they were really going out of their way to talk about how epic that show is. And once they started bringing it out of small arenas and back to big stadiums, like probably, I would say the Orlando show they did in like 2007, 2008. That's when they that Citrus Bowl one where they were really like the Ford Field one was a big deal with Cena and HBK, but it really started to have this like epoch feel to it. So it's hard to get like the stand, like everyone, like the talent, the way they talk about that show. And it's just like, if you go to WrestleMania, Doug, you've made it, you're here. But the Rumble just has this different vibe to it. Like, it's just,
is it like the NXT of Mania?
I think so. And it just like, I go into it just loving the surprise factor. Yes, some of it can be a little, predictable. A lot of the Becky Lynch stuff was predictable, but
the Seth Rollins stuff was predictable too.
Yeah, Seth was very predictable.
Look, when it comes to the Rumble match, we don't look into it just for the result.
No, we want to see the
It's for the action and the conflicts and all the stuff that would be within the match. To have I can understand having a cow over how predictable the match is.
Sure.
But let's go ahead and face facts here. The women's Rumble was very entertaining.
It was very good.
It was very, very entertaining. Same with the men's Rumble, okay? You have your Elias Jeff Jarrett spot to begin the match, and that's fun, okay? Shut up. It's fun, okay? That's all we want is fun. As the match goes on, you didn't expect a Gargano or an Aleister Black to come in. Titus O'Neil running down the walkway, and he makes the stop to make sure he doesn't slide under the ring, but ends up going under the ring anyway. The match is fun, okay? You're supposed to have fun spots and fun interactions, all right? I can understand you may have qualms with how it ends. Oh, I mean, let's put it this way. Who the winner is. But how the winner comes about is a completely different story. Yes, we telegraphed how Becky Lynch was going to win the Rumble, but it told a fabulous story of how she won it. All right. I'm sorry. I got a complete boner during the Women's Rumble between Lacey Evans and Charlotte. Seeing those two face off against each other, and it never really came to a full head during the match. Oh, that was great stuff.
Did you like the call to have Lana still limp out, and then that's a nice way to sneak Becky? Because Becky was not announced for the match ahead of time, because what they did strategically was pull Sasha out of the match when she got the title match with Ronda, and then Becky got the title match with Asuka, so that the line was that if you were getting a title match, you were not in the Rumble. Either person. Finn was pulled from the men's match.
There's no line.
But there's no line, though. But I like that, though. I like how they kind of played that. They said, yeah, if you're in a title match, it's not going to happen. But then you got what you got. I thought it was great with Fit Finlay just kind of being like, okay, you can go. Just go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, I just love how, somehow Fit Finlay has carte blanche over the SmackDown entrance.
Yeah, he can book stuff now, apparently. But is there anything in particular about the women's match that stuck out to you that that maybe other people maybe didn't? I kept noticing the lady dancing in the front row the entire night. I don't know if you saw her, but every time.
Oh yeah, she was a happy eyesore.
Yes, she was fun.
She was there for the music.
She was having a good old time. So yeah.
Yeah, she was just there for the music. She brought her kids over. She doesn't know who these people are. She just likes the music.
She just was having fun. By the way, props to Paul Nemmer, who not only for the women's match, but the men's match was doing play-by-play of every entrant and every elimination on Twitter as it was happening. Oh,
God, man. What a champ.
Bless his little heart there and up in Montreal. Man. So he was having to go. And also, Mike, I'm curious what Mike Tedesco is going to say on the post-Raw show tomorrow, because this was his first time recapping a Royal Rumble. I have to tell you, Doug, this was my first Royal Rumble probably since 2004 or 5, where I got to sit back and relax and not.
Right.
This was amazing to just kind of take it in, relax. I was reacting and talking to people on Twitter. It was just so we're going to get different perspectives. Mike's first time.
I got to tell you also right now, there was a time to where if you've watched my show and everything, I do a fantasy Royal Rumble. And there was a little hiccup to where, oh shit, Shelton Benjamin was eliminated. How did this happen? When did this happen? Oh, crap. 4 eliminations have happened past that. Oh, crap. When did this happen? I went on the Wrestleview review as Mike updates it, and man, did he have this to a T.
Sure did.
He did a fabulous job on this review and recap of the show. So, man, damn it, Mike. Good job.
Kudos to Mike Tabasco.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to find a GIF of her, but I was really impressed with Lacey Evans, who I know you've talked about before on Wrestleview.
Oh, Lacey Evans.
And she kind of threw me for a loop, because I remember, I think it was she's in NXT and she just got hurt. I forget her name. But she was saying, basically mocking Lacey's gimmick, saying that she's just some chick pretending like she's on the Glow show on Netflix, and it is kind of like an old-timey, kind of thing, but I thought it was really good. I enjoyed her presence. She opened the show. She was pretty comfortable on the mic for being so new. And she's really good in the ring too. Like, there was a spot she did at the main event tapings where it was super impressive. She did some kind of a springboard off the corner, but she's got a lot of potential. I mean, I was really, really impressed with her tonight. I think she stuck out the most. And it's funny how we're seeing like talent like her being introduced, and we're so like Charlotte, when Charlotte walks out, like, you treat Charlotte like a legit, like there was a moment where they were referring to Becky Lynch as a veteran. And I kind of went, she's not, and I went, wait a second. It's 2019. She's been wrestling for a long time. She's been on the main roster since what, 2015-ish?
Yeah, we're looking at about 4 years.
So, I mean, at that point, yeah, you are kind of a veteran when you've been on the roster for that long. So it's weird to consider these people veterans that we have pigeonholed as NXT, talent that have now been brought up to the main roster, but they really are becoming the veterans, because when you see, I mean, look at some of the names, Doug. I'm going to see if I can get this up on the screen here. So there was, let's see, Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose, fairly new, Liv Morgan, pretty new, Ember Moon, Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Xia Li, who's the Chinese wrestler, the first.
Well,
ever.
here, I guess the best way to put this is if you want to talk veteran, Maria Kanellis.
Yeah,
was the true veteran.
She was
of that Rumble, but she hadn't been with the company for nearly 8 years.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay, so everyone else who was in this Rumble has at most been on, if we're talking main roster, well, Natalya has been there a while, Alicia Fox, but we are talking. I guess we all need to really need to understand that time in professional wrestling, especially in the WWE, when it comes to the roster, man, what seems like a short amount of time is an incredible amount of time when it comes to the main roster and when you're on it. Okay. Yeah. Becky Lynch is a veteran. Even though she wasn't in it. Sasha Banks is a veteran. Bayley is a veteran.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay. All others that were on there, like your Io Shirai, Xia Li, Kairi Sane, everyone from NXT that popped up, everyone from the Riot Squad, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, all of them, the Iconics, all of them, you could go and say are fresh and new, but they've been with the company for at least, again, 3 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's something that just kind of hit me as I was watching the show, and I was like, wow, you're right. These talents have been on this roster for a long time.
And I guess what's really difficult is the Royal Rumble match itself is over 30 years old.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time.
It's a long time.
But the Women's Rumble, this is only its second incarnation.
Yeah, so we got a whole history to make with this match. So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to create our own history, even though the match itself has a very broad history.
Super broad history. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I thought Lacey, she stood out to me. I thought Lacey, Rhea Ripley. By the way, is it Rhea Ripley or is it Rhea or Rhea? Because I heard it pronounced two different ways. Beth Phoenix was saying one way, and Renee Young was saying another. I don't know if it matters.
I'm just gonna say Ripley from now on.
Just Ripley, yeah. No,
I don't know her well enough to call her by her first name.
She's got a ton of potential as well, just from her presence.
She turned me into a eunuch. Seriously, my manhood shriveled up and just went to the far side of the nutshell. Okay, dear God, she's more of a man than I will ever be.
I was watching the American Ninja Warrior girl, Katie. They were referring to her as Katie something in the chat.
Whatever.
But man, watch this too. I don't know if you. Well, yeah, you did see it, but watch how fast she moves here when she was working with Rhea Ripley. I mean, it's just athleticism that if she can really, obviously she's very new to the business, so it's going to take some time. And I'm always cautious of getting excited about somebody that can do a bunch of flippies and dives and stuff. But if you can make that work in a match, I mean, that was super impressive. There was another spot she did too. I don't know if it's in here on the list, but where she was trying to stay alive here and she was flipping up and did the handstand and then super impressive stuff. I mean, that was, and then to that part here, I mean, you could totally fuck this up so easily with wrapping your legs around. I'm sure that's slippery. Just trying to there's just so much potential, and maybe they don't care. Like maybe like, you know what, if you do screw up, it's fine, whatever. You know, it's because mistakes do happen in these matches. But yeah, she was really impressive tonight. So she's somebody else.
Well, I mean, number one, if she screws up, then that destroys her entire character.
Pretty much,
she's gone. Yeah. Okay, so that I'm not going to say that's practice or anything, but no, freaking a ninja warrior, she's going to nail that.
She's going to be good.
But there's just something about. There's a humongous difference between Kofi Kingston and her doing that. You know, is it really more amazing that she can do it rather than someone like Kofi Kingston? Are we really going to get into gender arguments?
No, what the point I'm trying to make is she's someone who's very new to the industry, and
yes,
I get nervous when they recruit people because just because they're athletic doesn't mean that they're necessarily good at pro wrestling. Because it's very different, and it takes some time, and some like a Matt Riddle catches on real quick. Shayna Baszler catches on real quick. Ronda, for the most part, has caught on pretty quick. But just because someone could do really athletic and impressive obstacle courses doesn't mean that's going to translate to a really physical thing like pro wrestling. But she did really good. I was watching her just because I haven't really had a chance to sit down and watch a full length match that she's had. Because as far as I know, has she had any matches on NXT television? Like I've seen her work at live events and recaps we put up on Wrestleview, but
she's had a couple, but most of her action you would see with the Mae Young Classic.
Okay. So
and a lot of the spots that she did with the trying to save herself spot, but slingshotting over the top rope to bring herself back in and kind of twisting over on her hands to do a Hurricane Rana to come back in. She's done that spot before. The twirling around that you were showing, like she was doing some, early 20s or 30s dancing, doing some body twirling around. She's done that spot before. What those spots that she did are not old. I mean, not new or anything. However, a lot of the people that were watching this have never seen that.
Yeah.
They don't watch the Mae Young Classic in NXT and NXT UK. I guess that's, again, it's the victimization. It's the victimizing of people who talk on the internet and are, talk about how some person should be brought up this way and others brought up that way. Got to realize the majority of the audience don't have a WWE Network subscription. They haven't seen these people.
Or they do and they just don't want to watch that stuff. I mean, it's...
Exactly. Or they're at their friend's house who does have one.
Yeah.
And they're only watching this because, it's Royal Rumble times. It's time to have a party.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't know if there's anything else about that match that you wanted to share, but I thought it was pretty good.
Lacey Evans makes me warm.
She's nice. I'm happy that we got some new talent, and there was a little part of me, and you're probably gonna call me a dork, but a little part of me was you did it before I even said anything. I was kind of hoping that Victoria would get in this match because she's going to retire this year. So I was kind of hoping they would have dialed her in there just because of her. If you're going to bring back, the lesser in-ring talent like Tori Wilson, who didn't, Stacy Keibler, actually Stacy didn't get brought back. I was thinking Stacy got brought back, but like if you bring back Tori Wilson, you can bring in Victoria. She was a pretty big part of that women's division in the Attitude Era, but that's just me being nitpicky. I thought that would have been cool to have her come out tonight. But I'm glad they're not relying on that because I was getting nervous. I'm like, oh man, is it going to be just like 10 veterans and only 20 people? I mean, think about how many women now are in NXT UK, the NXT main brand, the Raw brand, and Smack. I mean, there's just so many girls now. I mean, the roster.
And we aren't even touching developmental, even below that.
Yeah, there's women that aren't even being used yet on NXT television, but are in the system. You're right. Like think about Chelsea Green, who we saw it All In, used to be in TNA. She's in the NXT developmental system, but isn't quite being used on television yet. So yeah, they're doing a real good job of recruiting and keeping a good batch and keeping them pumped out. So it
really says something when the men's Royal Rumble match does that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good transition, Douglas. Let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble match a little bit.
Captain Segway. That's me.
Exactly. So first of all, I have to ask because it's the obvious ask. They did something interesting where at number 30 entrant was R-Truth because he won the mixed match challenge, which I didn't. I'll be honest, I did not watch the second season whatsoever. I just lost interest in that concept. But they had him enter at number 30 because he won that tournament with Carmella. However, Nia Jax walked out, and she decided to take his place. And I'm curious. I wasn't paying too close attention to Twitter because I kind of wanted to get live reactions. Oh, wow, that was loud. Thank you, Eric Yip, for subscribing. That's right over Doug's face, too. That was... didn't even...
Hey, where'd it go?
It's just right over your face. I guess I should extend this to the chat too. What did everybody think about Nia Jax getting involved? Because they've done the women in the men's Royal Rumble match. They've done the Beth Phoenix thing. They did China one year. They did Karma, Awesome Kong one year, but they haven't done it for a while. But I'll be honest, I thought it was I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like this. And then as it went along and they did the stuff with Rey Mysterio and with Randy Orton, got a little bit better, especially the facials that Randy and Ray were making in the match. But I thought I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is going to work. And then it worked. So I ended up actually liking it when it was all said and done. But what did you think about it?
I absolutely love it.
Okay.
Just because all of the complaints that we've made about Nia when it comes to promo delivery and on the mic and so many other complaints that we can have of her, it always was in the context of being alongside other women.
Okay.
But to put her in this new environment where she is literally bigger than some of the men that she's going against, I totally love it. Okay. Dare I say, well, is she better than Karma? Well, Karma never smiled when she did all this stuff. And Karma didn't have as much of a history that Nia Jax has when she got into this Royal Rumbles match. David Milesevich, you could have picked a better time to subscribe.
No, we want them to subscribe. I'm gonna move it. So if they subscribe, it won't be. Although I will be honest, I like the idea of it being on your face. So as you're trying to make a point,
fuck you then.
Anyway, continue. Sorry, continue.
No, it's okay. It's amazing when people start complaining about something when it happens, but then you give it 3 minutes and it actually turns out being pretty good.
Yeah.
Seeing Mustafa Ali not knowing what the heck to do and Nia Jax just tossing him over the top rope.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
And then you have the veterans of Ray and Randy going, what do we saw what you did.
Yeah.
We ought to do something about this, but still, I'm not sure. Nope, then Dolph Ziggler is the one that does the first blood.
Pretty much.
And then Ray and Randy go, oh, okay, I guess it's cool then.
No, it worked. I was a little scared at first, and then it eventually did get better, so not too bad. Sorry if it's killing everybody's ears. I don't know why the subscribe alert is so loud. I'll be honest.
We'll adjust that in post.
So sorry about that. I apologize if it's destroying your ears. But
no, but please keep on subscribing. Please do it.
Please keep on subscribing. We appreciate it because it does help us. But I was hoping I could fix the audio levels from my end, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to figure that out later. But
maybe I jacked them up on my end when I'm doing my show because
maybe
it doesn't happen as much.
I did notice. It's a little different than how I had it before, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it anyway. I just felt bad because someone said their ears were bleeding. But
by the way, can we talk about how everyone was thinking that stuff would happen in the Royal Rumble that really didn't happen?
Like Kenny Omega. What else? What were all the rumors? Let's talk about all the rumors that were out there.
I cannot think of another time during Royal Rumble's times where there have been so many rumors and so many false reports that span like a month going into this pay-per-view. I cannot remember a time like this. It was insane. How it was even when the match between Brock Lesnar and Fons Balor was completely changed. And everyone immediately saying, "Oh, Braun Strowman can't go. He's not healthy for the Rumble." What the hell does he do the next week? He has a match with Fons Balor. And now he's put into the Rumble match.
Yeah.
Oh, the Revival's asking for a release from the company. Oh, shit, wait a minute. They're on TV. And they're with Vince McMahon with a special request. I don't get this. Is it just because everyone has a hard-on for some federation that's happening over in Jacksonville?
Well, here's I caution to talk too much shit about AEW right now because not enough.
It hasn't happened.
Not enough has happened yet. We know that there's a show in May in Vegas, and that's when it's officially kicking off. But
everyone was thinking Abyss was going to show up.
Well, Abyss is with the company now, but yeah, probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
the Kenny Omega one, I didn't really see that happening, mainly because his contract with New Japan went well through the end of January, which didn't coincide with this show. Obviously, there's ways to get around contracts. It doesn't mean that you have to abide by those rules because contracts are meant to be broken.
Dolph played everyone like a damn 5-cent fiddle.
We should talk about because Dolph did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, who, by the way, sends us great content, does a great job with interviews. But Chris was standing with Dolph in his own backyard in Phoenix. And he's like, so, and it was funny because Chris was like, if you see it, actually, we could watch the clip really quick if you want to see how
go ahead.
It was hilarious how he addressed it because Dolph is very, and a lot of wrestlers are very smart at how they handle this stuff.
They are better politicians than politicians wish they could.
They're very calculated how they handle these things. But he was standing in Dolph's backyard and he asked the very obvious, question like, hey, we're in Phoenix and the Royal Rumble is taking place. And Dolph was very coy about it. And so it was very, let me see if I can get it up here on the screen. We can watch it all together. But so I watched this today. I put it up on Wrestleview and I was like, oh, he's clearly going to be walking in here. It was very obvious, but here's what he said with Chris Van Vliet earlier.
Yeah. But,
and then you could have something too.
But this must be nice for you. It's one of the 3 days a year you're actually at your house.
Yes, yeah. But right now I'm doing a few days at my house either way. But yes, very rare.
You got the Rumble Sunday, Raw, SmackDown. Everything's here in town, so you don't have to be.
That's true.
Traveling on the road like you usually are.
Right. That's very true. And as of now, contractually, what's the date?
It is January 25th.
Work.
6th right now.
26th. So technically, I'm still under
Worker's
contract.
always working.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
But I am not scheduled to be at the Royal Rumble tomorrow. I have a show afterwards at Stand Up Live.
You're on a whole bunch of posters. You know that?
No, I didn't know that. Well, the likeness is there. So.
See, I love that. He knew how to play that one like a fiddle. So he did a good job there.
My Lord.
But I liked his little surprise. I loved the Jeff Jarrett entrance. We were fiddling with Skype, unfortunately, at the time, so we were trying to get everything to work on our end for the broadcast tonight. But literally, as I hung up with Doug, I hear the old school JEFF music, and I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome! I can't wait to see this." So that was one of my favorites. Our boy Josh Boutwell, who's a longtime TNA supporter, apparently not a fan of the Jeff Jarrett entrance this evening, but I liked them going back to old school Double J because that's what I grew up with. It wasn't obviously I fully experienced, and it's just astonishing me to see all these people that were in TNA, Doug, in the early days, working in front of 800 people at the Nashville Fairgrounds, trying to be that alternative to the WWE, and now they're all in the WWE now. It's hilarious.
AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett. Who else do we need to name?
Bobby Roode, Eric Young.
Bobby Roode, Eric Young.
Yeah, a ton of people. So I liked and old school, new generation wrestling fans, I'm sure they liked the Jeff Jarrett little entrance. He had the old school suspenders in the front attire. So and the crowd was fucking loving every second of the JEFF chant as well. So, and by the way, I should mention this too. Doug is just enjoying some Elias crowd reactions these days. You seem to be very impressed with the Elias crowd reactions.
Oh my God, man! I guess what I love the most about it too is how he reacts to the reaction. Where he just goes, WWE stands for, and he goes, woo, woo. And he loves it, and I love it that he loves it. That is just a great pop, regardless of, it being a cheap pop. It doesn't matter. It just gets the crowd enthused and into whatever the hell might be going on. That's why he was the number one person starting off the Rumble. It gets the crowd amped up. So for everyone who's saying, oh, then Elias should get a belt, shut up. Elias is never getting a belt. Ever.
Shut up.
Shut up. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. Okay. And that reaction that I give right there, that shut up, stop it. I work with a lot of pro wrestling fans who, I love talking wrestling. I love doing some fantasy booking and telling them what I think is going to be happening and everything. But once there is a certain line that you start crossing and the number one phrase that is said when you've crossed that line goes, oh, well, they should get a title. Shut up. Stop it. Shut up. Don't you? Oh, this is a sport, huh? Shut up. It's a TV show. Stop it. You're about to cross that line. Okay? Stay with me. Or else I've got some Cheetos and some dew for you. Don't do it. Stay with me. We're having a great conversation.
But they go there at the title. Yeah. Well, that's just, that's typical, wrestling fan, everything. The belts matter and that kind of stuff. So we know those people. We know who they are.
Oh, yeah.
You talked about the Titus entrance, which I loved, him slowing down and walking to the ring and going, oh, no. So we got that up on the screen right now.
But then Kurt Hawkins pops up from underneath, and Kurt Hawkins is just, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
That was so, the audibleness of being able to hear him say, I'm scared. I thought that was fun, too. So there was good stuff there. Anything, I'm trying to think of some other stuff. I'm just looking at some of the GIF highlights, courtesy of the wonderful TDE Wrestling Twitter account. Mustafa Ali got a lot of attention this evening in the Rumble match, so that was interesting. Was
Andrade got a lot of attention?
He got a ton. Pete Dunne got a lot of reaction too. What did you was the No Way Jose? Was that the fastest over Santino's? Did we get a time on how quick No Way Jose got tossed out?
I don't. I still think Santino's got it.
So let's see if we can find. If you're in the chat and you found out, toss it up there and we'll see if we can get the actual time. But so Santino's was like what, like a second maybe?
Yeah, not even one.
Okay.
I've the pages that I have. I've got no times. I've got No Way Jose is at 2 seconds.
2 seconds. And
Xavier Woods was at 3.
Okay, so there was a lot of. So Santino then is still a second.
Titus O'Neil was at 3.
Okay, so Santino owns it then, because Santino literally got into the ring and it was immediately hit. So he's still the famous I wasn't ready, that the whole Okay. Let's see what else was there. There's a lot of people talking about other stuff on the show, so we'll have to get to that. But anything else in the men's match that caught your attention, or anything because a lot of people, again, this is mixed reviews for this match. I don't know.
There have been better Royal Rumbles.
Okay.
There have been better men's Rumble matches. Okay. Regardless, and it has nothing to do with the cameo appearances. It has nothing to do with the insertion of NXT talent. Okay. It just seemed this match, Rumble matches are supposed to have a nice little ebb and flow, as it goes along. The final 4 seemed incredibly forced.
Because of the
very, very forced.
Now, is that because of, so if people didn't see it,
it could be because of time constraints. I'm not sure.
There may have been time constraints, but they had Bobby Lashley get eliminated pretty quick, and then he beat the shit out of Seth Rollins and then put him through a table.
Was part of it.
They had Strowman get exited out of the match, so he was kind of out for a while. And then, because it was weird, because I think at one point, people got the impression that they were going to close with an Andrade and Dolph Ziggler as the final 2, but Rollins and Braun Strowman were still on the outside. But if you didn't, if you weren't really paying attention, you probably would have been, oh yeah, by the way, they're still actively in this match. But so you had an issue with pacing, is what you're saying?
There's a lot of pacing. There seemed to be the number one complaint that I have when it comes to Rumble matches is when there's an entrance that's happening, the cameras and everything are focusing on the entrance of the person coming in, but then there's stuff happening in the ring, like an elimination happens.
And you miss it.
Yeah. Okay. Or an elimination happens, but then something happens on the opposite side of the ring, happens to be an elimination. The Royal Rumble match is one of the hardest matches to produce, one of the most difficult, just because you have so many people with earpieces on the outside. You got your refs on the outside with the earpieces feeding to the production trucks, but you're trying to communicate to, at sometimes, 7 to 10 other bodies that are in that ring. So it is one of the most difficult matches to produce. And I guess the difficulties of it it wasn't as much with the camera angles, but the timing of everything. I mean, just like how I missed a Shelton Benjamin elimination, I almost missed a Jeff Hardy elimination. Crap stuff was happening really fast near the end of the match. Okay, and that's what was kind of throwing me for a loop. Okay, and I totally understand that you have to have, when the person makes their entrance into the match, you got to give them their high spots and everything, and that's all well and good. But you don't need to give them 4 or 5. Maybe give them 2 or 3. Have them floor some people with a clothesline or floor them with a finisher. It doesn't need to be every single person in the ring.
It's a little chaotic for you tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suplex with a bunch of numbers at the end of their name said Seth is too small in size to be a main eventer. Have you looked at Seth before? Like, he's a pretty big dude. I mean, he's CrossFit Jesus if you've never been exposed to his workout routine. So he may not be incredibly tall. I don't know how tall Seth is. Is he 6'2"? Or
he's about 6'1".
6'1", 6'2". So yeah, I mean, he's clocking in a little over 220. So I mean, that's not.
Just because he's not as big as you doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve to be there.
I'm used to watching mixed martial arts in different weight divisions, and it's hilarious to me that the weight of 205 is considered cruiserweight. Like, that's not a small person. Like, I mean, I know you might be short in stature, but if you're over 200 pounds, I mean, you're not a small human being by any.
If you have a problem with Seth Rollins, you must have a problem with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan's even shorter than Seth, but I think Daniel's close to maybe a little over 200.
He's 210.
210 at least. Okay, so
yeah, he's 210.
AJ's not
shorter than Seth Rollins.
AJ's not very tall, but AJ's like 225, 220.
Yeah, AJ's about 220, and he's about the same height as Seth Rollins.
I think
I'm taller than these jokers.
Yes, you are.
And I don't deserve to be there, period. Okay.
I think now is a good time, though, to do the Seth thing, because we've been there. So how many years has it been since he did the cash-in on Roman and Brock? Was that 2015?
I think it's 2015.
Was it 2015?
We're looking at 4 years.
He's been out of the main event scene for, I mean, I know there was the injury, so obviously that we can't ignore that.
Right.
Yeah, Eric confirmed 2015. Thank you, Eric. But it's been a couple years since he's been in the main event scene. And I think so. I remember when we were sitting in the hotel in Chicago talking about All In, and we didn't get into it because it was off topic. But Mike Tedesco made the point that he thought Seth Rollins was the best wrestler alive today, doing what he's doing. And you made that face, the face you just made. You disagreed. But do you think now is a good time, though, to run with Seth in the main event picture, whether it's him challenging for the Universal Championship against Brock, because I'm assuming Brock's going to keep that title till WrestleMania. I'm pretty much under the impression, unless they do a random title change at the Chamber, that Daniel Bryan will also remain champion until WrestleMania. But I guess between the two, what's more enticing, Seth and Daniel, or Seth and Brock? Because I think they've already planted the seed for Seth and Brock when he did. Feels that way.
They've planted the seed for Seth and Brock. However, the Elimination Chamber is the grand reset button.
Yes.
Okay. So whatever ideas they might have in their head for a different main event, they can absolutely press it at Elimination Chamber. Both prospects don't sound bad. The problem is what is their match going to be opposite that? Okay, so you're going to have Seth Brock. No problems with that. I mean, it's been etched in the tablets for a long time that it was going to be Seth and Brock. Okay, so what are you doing with Daniel Bryan? Right now, the only thing I'm thinking, and you saw my whiteboard on my show about 2-3 weeks ago.
I love that, by the way.
It's a clusterfuck. I have no idea what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan as champion right now. With him beating AJ Styles here for a second time on pay-per-views, I don't know what they're going to build with him. But let's say conversely, so you're going to have Seth Rollins go on Daniel Bryan over on SmackDown, which I can totally buy. So what are you going to do with Bork? Oh, we'll find a way to get Braun in there. They can easily do that.
So in the chat, Mace and Suplex are both agreeing that Seth is not a draw. And I wouldn't really argue against that point. I mean, I don't think really anybody has been a draw outside of John Cena.
I think we need to eliminate the discussions of what is a draw.
Well, I mean, if you think about do you judge that? Thank you for subscribing, Team Skyway. Do you judge that by all the things that you have to judge someone on, which is merchandise sales, ticket sales, average attendance for live events per month? You can't just pick a random house show. You have to look at an average of course of even quarterly. You have to look at it. Do you judge that on what the network subscribers are at that time? Because pay-per-view revenue is completely irrelevant now. There's a myriad of factors that go into, because you can look at who is champion and correlate that to business. That there was a definite downturn in business when Eddie Guerrero was WWE champion, and he took it very personally. That's one of the things he talked about, of feeling kind of like bad and almost borderline responsible when there was an overall downturn in wrestling that year in like 2005, 2004-ish. It was just a downturn time. So how do you judge that? And I guess when I hear someone say, oh, well, he's not a draw, I don't know who's really been a draw in this company outside of John Cena for the last 10 years anyway. They've tried with Roman Reigns. CM Punk sold a lot of T-shirts. Daniel Bryan sold a lot of T-shirts during the initial Yes movement, but I don't know if he was really a draw.
Right.
It's just, it's hard. You almost have to put a stopgap about when the network launched and look at subscribers, and you could kind of fluctuate. That's how, to me, you fluctuated off of subscriber numbers and attendance at live events. Kind of like how music artists can't judge, they can't judge success off of just, streams of their songs. Now it's
right.
Who's going to go buy a ticket to watch that band play live? Because that's how they make their money now. That's more of a judge of that character. But I don't know. When I hear that word draw, I don't know, because it's like, because I don't think Roman's really been a draw. I mean, I think Roman's just a default, because of where they positioned him. I don't really think Roman sold a lot of shirts,
right?
But I don't know if that means he's a draw or not.
The number one constant that there has always been when it comes to the success of the WWE, when it comes to bringing in profits, the number one that's always been a constant that has never, ever changed are gates. Who appears, how many people appear at live events. And I'm not just talking Raw and SmackDown tapings. I'm talking the house shows. That is where they make their bread and butter, are the house shows, because they are at cheap arenas for cheap leases. And the seats for those are almost priced, I want to say, at about 3/4 the price of a TV taping. That is where they make their money. So it depends on who is on that show that's going to be at that gate that everyone's going to be coming through. I don't think the selling factor is now behind the name. It's about the brand, is what it is. It's more about who are the group of people that are going to be at this show. Is it Raw or is it SmackDown? I don't think it has anything to do with who appears at it at all.
Sure.
It's just the brand that it is.
It's become a brand.
It's become more of a brand than anything else. And this is where you can really get into a superstar shakeup and who's going to go where and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, but the branding is built up from what you have going on the television shows. And I'm not just talking a one particular talent that's going to be a one particular draw. It's a collective.
It's funny though. It's funny though when people argue, like, they don't like that answer, but then they'll be so excited about All Elite Wrestling, which is a brand. I mean,
yeah,
people are just excited about a collection of talent on one brand, because if you didn't have a lot of those guys there, would you care so much? I mean, look at, I don't know. It just, it feels like the judging the draw kind of argument has changed quite a bit with the way wrestling is just presented now, modern day, versus when we were growing up as kids. So it's just very different world that we're in now. But I think Seth is a good workhorse person to be in a title match. As we've seen, they don't really tend to close the shows with the person who wins the Rumble anyway at WrestleMania. So I'm not sure it matters at the end of the day who gets that spot.
They sure as hell didn't do it last year with Nakamura.
They sure didn't. And I think this year the idea or the goal or the thing that keeps being discussed is they want to put Ronda Rousey in the main event spot at WrestleMania, and that's probably going to be against Becky and Charlotte in a triple threat. I mean, we're probably going to get that to close the show at MetLife this year. So we'll see how it goes.
It's just really weird how when it comes to the WWE, and the same thing happened last year, and I bring up this example so many times, how when an injury happens or something out of the blue just knocks their booking for a loop, they will slam the gas pedal on a match that you would not expect to be on a pay-per-view earlier that on. The example I give you is from, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, of Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman at No Mercy. The only reason we got that is because we had an injury. I'm trying to remember who the injury was to. I think it was either Roman Reigns or Samoa Joe or someone. There was an injury that happened that caused this pedal to get slammed for this match to happen. Okay. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey was supposed to happen at Survivor Series, and that was going to be the end of that. But we didn't get it because of the miracle right hand of Nia Jax. So instead of getting the Becky Lynch Ronda Rousey match that we were supposed to get, we had slammed the gas pedal. Here comes Ronda and Charlotte, even though they wanted to have that later. Okay, there's just something about WWE booking to when something spontaneous happens, they put the pedal to the metal to something that they were planning on doing way later. Okay, the idea of a triple threat with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda sounds appealing to me. However, I just think it's just going to be Becky and Ronda.
Probably.
Unless they do that earlier to bring on the triple threat.
Could very well do.
Which could very well happen.
What's on your big board for that main event?
Oh, my big board is where my laundry is right now, so I can't really grab that from behind me.
Okay.
No, but I had Becky and Ronda.
Okay.
At WrestleMania, I had Charlotte Asuka in a rematch at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
Women's tag match being a clusterfuck once they figure out who the tag titles are going to be on it.
Well, they sure did tease that Four Horsemen thing, but I don't think it's going to work if Ronda and Charlotte and Becky are busy. But they did that tonight with. I guess we should talk about some other stuff on the show.
Let's talk about a lot of other things because I think people really need to lay off the freaking Kool-Aid.
I liked
a lot of things.
I liked Ronda and Sasha. It was a little sloppy at first, but it got better as it went. I thought honestly that was the first time where they actually made Ronda look human. Because we've just seen the I gotta tell you, if I never see the pause in the match and Ronda says something, cut to person with shocked look on face ever again, I'll be so happy. It's becoming the Tower of Doom spot, and everybody knows how I feel about that spot. Which unfortunately, I don't think we technically saw one in the Rumble. I think it was a makeshift Tower of Doom, it wasn't a full on, but
it was more like a high rise of Doom.
Yeah, it was just like a leaning tower that fell, but. I just don't like the Ronda, I'm going to stop Doug and I'm going to look at you and then you look shocked and oh my, it just, it takes me out of it. And I know it's wrestling. I have to suspend my disbelief. I suspend my disbelief enough when I watch 2 or 3 people at NXT Takeover shows stand and look up and wait for someone to do a moonsault for 3 seconds when they could have moved by that point. It's just so fucking dumb, but it's wrestling. So you can't get too upset about it, but I don't like the Ronda thing. I'm sick of that. But I did like the match with Sasha tonight where they made her look human, where she was almost on the verge of tapping out. So I did like that tonight.
I like the Sasha match in that she stayed on the ground.
Yeah.
She did not do any convoluted spot, to jeopardize anyone's health. Okay. She just stayed with her feet on the ground throughout the match. Okay, that was my big thing. I think we were all worried that Sasha was wanting to uncork something that she just saw on a GIF on her Twitter feed.
Yeah.
So thankfully she didn't do that. Okay. Now I'm just trying to figure out, so where was this Sasha for the past 6 months?
I don't know, man.
I got to tell you, because the Sasha that we've been watching doesn't do any of this crap.
No.
And that's my problem with this match. Where the hell did this come from? Okay. The Sasha character, I have no clue what it is.
Did you see the little video they did where they followed her around for a week on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why don't they put that on television? I mean, that just was so much more interesting than having her cut one of her, I'm a legit boss, Doug, and I'm going to take that title away from you this Sunday at the Royal Rumble live on the WWE Network for $4. It's like, just show her in her element of her and the Performance Center training and then going to Brooklyn where the Amazing Red has a wrestling school. And just, you know, the whole point of that video, if you didn't see it, was Drew Gulak from 205 Live, basically, you know, going, well, think about how many matches Ronda Rousey's had and how many fights she had in her career and how short they were. And you know, you can work that to your advantage. And I know this is not a real fight. I understand. But they blur the lines with Ronda because they're still calling her the baddest woman on the planet, even though she's clearly not. But that's the bubble they've created with Ronda, and that's the playground that we're on, and that's what we have to hear. But why can't you just show that? Why do I have to see the boss stuff? Like Michael Cole, it's boss time, Doug, and it's just, you're right. This was we have not seen this Sasha in so long, since what, maybe the NXT days when she was a full-blown heel. And I don't know, it just,
Bianca Belair on Saturday was a better Sasha Banks than Sasha Banks has ever been. Okay.
I don't know, ever been.
I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell Sasha Banks is. What is she? Is she a mat wrestler? Is she a boss? Is she a hugger? Does she have best friends? Does she not have any friends? What is she?
I don't know.
I have no clue.
She had a very clear directive in NXT, and that just,
she had it then.
Just disappeared on the main roster. I don't get it. I don't understand it. By the way, holy shit, with Shane McMahon tonight, doing that shooting star press. Let me see if I can get a gif of that. I loved his, did you notice his reaction at the very end where he looked just like dead after hitting the shooting star? I'm going to put this up on the screen.
Yeah.
This is just, I mean, the subtlety of him just going like, and he's just completely out of it. And the Miz is just shaking him like a teddy bear going, we won. And he's putting, look at that shit. And he's just, oh, it was so funny. I was just loving every second of this. This was great. They did a really good job of that. I'm surprised the TDE guys don't have the moonsault, or the shooting star press rather. So I'm going to see if I can find that. But
oh no, I just need that reaction to Shane. That's great.
How old is Shane? 44?
44, 45?
Let's see.
Like that?
Wow, 49. He's even older than
Christ.
He is almost 50 fucking years old, and he's doing shooting star I mean, that is a dangerous, dangerous move.
Well, you know, it helps not being in the ring for close to 12, 14 years.
That helps too, and I hesitate to bring up the Brock thing because that's just like absolute worst case scenario of something happening and going completely wrong, going terribly wrong. But man, to see a 50-year-old dude doing a shooting star press, I'm efforting, I'm stalling so I can find the gif. But I loved the Miz's dad at ringside, by the way. I thought that was really funny. They kept.
I was waiting for Mrs. Dad to pop Shane in the face.
I know, that would have been fun.
We were all waiting. Everyone was waiting for a turn to happen. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I wanted to play the Miz's dad has his own Titantron on YouTube if you've never seen it. So it's
it's fantastic. I've seen that.
It's just wonderful. It's just so no one seems to have a GIF of the shooting star press, which is unfortunate. But it was very.
CJ says that he sent it to you on the Twitter feed.
Twitter feed, my Twitter feed. Oh, he did. Okay.
On the Wrestleview Twitter feed there.
Okay, let's copy link it. So someone did add it, but we.
That's why I'm staring at you in the chat box, people.
The chatter peoples. All right, let's get this one up here. Oh, it's Wrestling Gifts. Maybe I should just start following this account. But
there we go.
There we go. So if you didn't see it, here it is. Boom.
If you want to lay off the Stardom gifts, then go ahead and go in with them.
It wasn't like super air, but man, that move always makes me nervous when I see somebody do it. And then when I saw, by the way, the reaction shots they got at ringside when he hit it, awesome. Good job by production to find that, because they did that very, very well. They picked that one out awesome. So good job, everybody that was involved.
Man, he got that distance and everything. I mean, it's a little bit scary.
It was a little. That move freaks me out, man, because you just one slip, or you do what Brock did, where he he went real high and then just wasn't ready for it and smacked Ab on top of his neck and
way too high, way too far.
Yeah, so not good. What else was on the show this evening that I wanted to mention? Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. I don't know what is going on with Daniel Bryan, but I am just not liking these dudes' matches right now. And I don't know if it's the pacing of it, but I was bored to death with Daniel and AJ. I don't know. The ending where they're setting up the flannel club, that's what I'm going to call them now. They haven't officially, but so
can we talk about this? This was interesting.
So no more Bludgeon Brothers, apparently.
Well, we don't know that just
for
yet.
sure, but it seems that way that there's going to be no more Bludgeon Brothers.
We don't know that.
We don't know for sure, but it sure seems that way.
Well, just because the Bludgeon Brothers got new wardrobe doesn't mean that they aren't brothers anymore.
But he did walk out in a flannel shirt, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, oh, so Daniel wears a flannel shirt, and so does Eric now.
Eric Rowan, and they like Nirvana and Soundgarden, and their parents never hugged them. You know,
I like those bands, yeah. But the Bludgeon Brothers, unfortunately, for those who don't remember, got broken up back in August because Eric Rowan tore a bicep, and then Luke Harper ended up doing something to his wrist or his hand, and he got some surgery for that. But they were tag team champions on SmackDown. They were really building those dudes up, and then they had to kind of just, peace out on that one. But it looks like they're pairing Eric Rowan with Daniel Bryan.
And I will give them another pay-per-view, and, Fastlane coming up, then Harper shows up.
And then they'll just have people, they'll make a group of flannel-wearing dudes with beards. So,
dude, Harper in a flannel? Yeah.
Sure, I'll take it.
Why not? All three dudes with beards? Hell yeah.
So
sign me up.
So if they can't,
Bludgeon Brothers care about the fucking earth.
What would their hand gesture be? They can't do the too sweet, but they're the flannel club. So what would they? We have to think of something creative.
They got to think of a really cool hand gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Undisputed Era and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're flannel.
No, actually, what Daniel Bryan will do is after Harper joins them, and it'll be the SmackDown show after said pay-per-view, he gives them all rings, and they are now the Planeteers.
I liked what May said. He calls them the biodegradable brothers. That would be I love the Daniel Bryan stuff, by the way. It's been pretty entertaining.
It's great.
Did you see that he kayfabed all the local news interviews this week?
Yes.
Oh, he just gave zero fucks. He just went for it. So that was
But going back to why Daniel Bryan is boring and his matches. Yeah. Bear in mind, this is only the third. He had his match with Brock Lesnar
and the Miz.
He played chicken shit.
Well, the Brock match wasn't bad. I'm thinking about the matches that he had with the Miz that I was just not into. I was not feeling those.
Oh.
Not a
fan.
I
mean, that was way time back, man. That was way back.
Not really. I mean, that was the last big feud before he did the Brock match.
Right, when he was a different persona.
True, but the style he was Mr. Small Package is what he was trying to kind of put over it, which he didn't really necessarily do tonight. But okay. So think about the placement of the match. So the match took place after the 30 women battle or the 30 women Royal Rumble.
Everyone is gassed from Becky winning.
You had already had 3 matches prior to the women's Royal Rumble match with Ronda, Sasha, the tag title match, and Asuka and Becky. So was it just doomed to fail no matter what they put there because of the placement? I mean, I don't know.
No, it was just a flat out match itself.
Just happened.
The guys were rolling around the mat for most of the match.
Yeah.
There weren't really any high spots.
The crowd was just quiet. At first I was like, did they not mic up Chase Field right? And then Frank tweeted me and he goes, I'm sitting in the stadium, and he said it's dead quiet. And it reminded me when we watched Chris Jericho CM Punk at WrestleMania when that entire stadium was just deathly quiet. I mean, it was just...
Well, that's because didn't it follow the Hell in a Cell match?
Did it really? Oh, man, my memory's terrible. We have to
It followed the Hell in a Cell match between Taker and Triple H.
Let me look this up.
Of course they're going to be dead.
That was WrestleMania 28. Let's see, match placements. It followed... You're right. Well, I mean, it was one match after they did the Raw versus SmackDown brands.
And everyone tapped out into that too.
It was after Team Johnny versus Team Teddy, but you're right. They did the Triple H, Undertaker, Steel, Hell in a Cell, Team Johnny versus Team Teddy, and then they did Punk and Jericho. Punk and Jericho was co-main event before Rock and Cena, which had the crowd just losing their shit the entire time. So yeah. But it could have been placed. The problem, and again, that's WWE Championship match. We're talking about another WWE Championship match that just gets, sandwiched incorrectly. And I don't know, what if you had done this second match instead of the SmackDown Tag Title match, and you put Miz and Shane McMahon here instead?
Well, then you'd be hearing people like me bitch about why you got this match going on so early. This is the WWE Championship, for crying out loud.
Well, that's true, but this is the Royal Rumble, so I don't think people really the belt marks
Well, fuck your Royal Rumble. The title means everything.
as goofy as the belt marks are. I don't even think they would have argued that with this being the Royal Rumble show. I mean, that's what this entire show is about.
Well, probably not.
I would hope not, but they love them some belts though, so who knows?
I just don't know what the hell they're doing right now. I really don't, over on the SmackDown side, and that's okay.
It's exciting, right?
Yes. I mean, that's okay. I'm glad that I can't telegraph that, okay?
I have to be brutally honest. I did not see much of Brock and Finn, so you watched more of it than I did. But you said it was pretty quick, though, right? It was just because I saw the finish.
This was a nice little 10-minute match. I mean, Brock not really getting a whole lot of offense in. All that really was the telltale was Balor shoving Brock into the corner of the table. This was, I swear, I can't remember which match this was. This sounds so similar. The same thing happened in a Brock match where he was sent into the corner of a table and he's clutching at his stomach the entire time. I want to say this was a Cena match or a Randy Orton match or something like that he had, to where he was sent into the corner of a table and he's clenching his gut for 8 minutes only to do an F5, 2 or 3 of them, or maybe slap on a Kimura, and that's it.
Okay.
This was one of the more lackluster Brock matches.
More
Just
lackluster
because-
than his match with Braun Strowman, which we both hated with a passion.
Well, yeah.
Really?
I think so.
So the line that they were pushing was
Triple H match. Okay, thank you, Jason.
Triple
yes.
H. Okay. So they were pushing David versus Goliath in this one.
And that's what you push in every match with Brock Lesnar.
And they did the tail of the tape, and they showed the reach and the how heavy these guys were and how much bigger Brock was. But they did finally play into Finn never getting his title rematch, which I thought was good. But I think this boded better than doing Braun again. Personally, from the little that I did see, I only saw about 4 minutes of it, but I just don't know what you were going to be able to do with Brock and Braun here. And then you have to have a finish too. And I don't know if you want to do a finish with Braun losing, because they're trying to still, I don't know if that's still the goal with Braun, if he's still, monster that doesn't lose, but I thought Finn was a good choice here for Brock's opponent. It might piss off people that he didn't win, but I don't think anybody really expected him to win anyway. So just something different to do, and it was kind of fresh. It felt nice. So
I think it's something different for him to do, other than just be in the Royal Rumble match and lose anyway.
Exactly, which probably what they would have done. So
yeah.
Exactly. Let's go over to the Twitters, Douglas, and see what people were grading the show. 71% thumbs up, so pretty positive feedback to the pay-per-view this evening. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I can have this feedback. Frank, who's actually at Chase Field, tweeted us. He said, "Here live, had a couple brewskis, and at the time of my life, during a time where WWE television quality has taken a dip for months. That's what it's all about, on par with WrestleMania that I've been to, top to bottom, outstanding show, 6 Meltzer arm casts out of 5. How rude of Frank to, Dave Meltzer injuring himself recently. Bronx chimed in, everything the women did was great, but AJ and Brian have zero chemistry, and Finn is a worthless toothpaste ad. What is it? I have never.
His teeth are very shiny. And
I guess. Okay.
He likes to smile a lot. Showing him in the locker room, and he was just staring into nothing on the ground and smiling.
So that's the.
I don't know if he spotted a candy wrapper or something.
He's a smiling boy.
He really needs to stop that.
He said the men's rumble sucked. Outcome was predictable. The worst men's rumble in history. So Bronx.
Oh, stop it! Don't be saying.
I don't even
think. Don't.
I don't even think Bronx believes that. I think Bronx just typed that giggling because obviously Mike responded and said he wouldn't go that far. Mike thought.
I know how I can trigger these assholes.
Yeah, Bronx triggered Mike because Mike said 2015 Rumble was way worse, and I'm trying to remember who won the 2015 Royal Rumble. Which Rumble was that? Let's go back.
2015 Triple H.
No.
No.
Because that did piss people off that Triple H won, but
Roman Reigns won it.
Yeah, well, that's because everyone hated Roman Reigns, and okay, was that the night that The Rock came out and raised his hand?
No, that was the night that was the night that The Rock came out to induct Roman Reigns.
Okay, and the boos were hilarious. And The Rock's face when the boos happened was the best part.
Yeah, yeah.
Robert Cochran gave it a thumbs up, but I could have done without the men's, or maybe even have the women. So a lot of people not liking the men's Royal Rumble, Douglas, this evening. Brian tweeted in, I was entertained, loved the women's Rumble. I thought despite the overwhelming favorites, they still told a decent story to the finish. To get to the finish with Brock and Finn was fast and hard hitting, and Shane finally hitting a shooting star press. Michael Fox tweeted in, best main roster show in a very long time. So overall feedback for the show was good, but a lot of people not liking the men's Royal Rumble match this year so much. So
it could have been better.
Could have been, yeah.
It could have been better, but damn it, you can't hate a Royal Rumble.
No,
you just can't.
It's a fun concept. It's just I don't know if people wanted more surprises. You got the surprise with Double J. You had Titus.
I didn't get Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's right. Did you make a bet on your show? So you have to.
No, but I'm pretty much going to self-induce myself on that one. Okay.
How did the picks go, by the way? Because I think Ken put up the picks on the Facebook page. How did that go?
Yeah, Ken is to fucking blame for this. Okay, so we had 14 matches to predict for the Royal Rumble weekend.
Oh, because
five from NXT, 2 on the pre-show, 7 for the Royal Rumble.
Okay, I was confused at first, but
as far as what I'm really concerned about goes, 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Well, no, it's not bad. I think as in a collective, I believe we went 8 and 7 and something. I don't know.
I like the 8 and 7 and something or
something. I don't know.
Well, you have time to crunch the numbers. I wasn't trying to put.
Yeah, I'll try to crunch.
I was just curious if you.
I was focusing on. I've got to take 3 shots of tequila.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
That's what I'm focusing on.
That's for sure.
1, 2 and 1, 2. Yeah, 2 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 4, 5 and 4, 6 and 4.
Can I have a 7 and 4?
6 and 4, 7 and 4.
Yeah, 8 and
7,
4.
5.
Ah, okay.
8 and 5.
9 and 5. Come on.
8 and 6.
8 and 6. Okay.
We went 8 and 6.
Right.
The locks that Ken got right on behalf of myself, he locked Gargano to beat Ricochet. He locked in Shane and Miz to defeat the Bar.
Okay.
And he locked Asuka to retain.
Well, then he did a good job.
Hey, batting 500 on the locks, that's fine. I can deal with 3 shots. Not a problem. I took 4 shots. That was on my picks.
Before we wrap this up, did you see much of TakeOver or any at all, by the way?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think? Good show, bad show, average?
I've seen better takeovers.
I saw that, and it was weird because I saw some people that just fucking loved it, and then I saw some people on Twitter that just said, wow, the streak is over. And I kept seeing that word streak. So there was a common word associated with TakeOver. If you tweet or if you search the tweet, the handle NXT Takeover, hashtag NXT Takeover, and type in streak next to it, I mean, everybody was saying streak, and I didn't even know, were they on a streak? Like, apparently every TakeOver show has been just flawless for the last 3 or 4 years, but apparently they were on a streak, Doug, and that streak has ended. So I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I was very underwhelmed by the Matt Riddle Cassius Ohno match. I thought that match was not very good.
Yeah, the Riddle Ohno was incredibly underwhelming.
Yeah.
Holy crap! The Ricochet Gargano match was a Michael Bay film.
You know what was funny?
Explosions everywhere with a lackluster climax.
It looked like 2 guys dancing, essentially, sometimes. I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I can't fully...
If you thought that was bad, Ciampa Black was even worse.
Was it worse? Because
finishers don't mean shit.
I love Tommaso as champion right now. I think he's really effective in that role. But I don't know. It got pretty positive feedback for us on the Wrestleview Twitter last night.
I loved Baszler Belair.
I wanted to see that match. I didn't get a chance to see that one.
I'm a Belair fan now.
She's got a lot of potential from the stuff
Oh,
we've seen,
yeah. Keep her on the NXT roster for a while, please.
Yeah, let her. Well, she's still like 2 years in, so yeah, they'll keep her down there for a while. I would hope at least.
I really just hope that with all of I spoke about it earlier, the damn rumors and everything that's happening, everyone just pump the brakes on trying to bring people in.
That, but I also think it's also an exciting time because I think we were all getting. I mean, I'll be honest. I've been pretty bored of the WWE product. So the fact that these
that's why we got 5 acts coming in.
But there's more acts coming in. There's the potential of some acts leaving and going to All Elite Wrestling over the course of the next year or two with contracts expiring. I love the climate that we're about to enter in because of a billionaire funding another wrestling company, which I never thought we would see. I thought once, honestly, truthfully, when the TNA thing, you could pretty much put the death nail on TNA when they lost the Spike television deal. As soon as that deal was dead, even up to that point, they were still really struggling, but they were still averaging about 1 million viewers. So you could still say they're a relatively strong brand to be getting 1 million viewers on cable television. But the fact that All Elite Wrestling is going to create, I mean, it's funny to see where the tides have changed. I mean, Sinclair Broadcast owns Ring of Honor. It's a huge corporate conglomerate. They pump money into Ring of Honor. They're running Madison Square Garden without the Young Bucks, without Cody Rhodes, without Kenny Omega, without the Bullet Club elite guys.
And with joint booking going alongside New Japan.
Yeah, with that, there's potential for crews to work together. You have Jericho agreeing to be exclusive to All Elite Wrestling for at least 3 years. If the rumors are true, they're going to get a major cable television deal, possibly TBS or TNT. Could be something. Yeah. It's going to be really underwhelming if they say like fucking like True TV or something. Obviously, that would be. But it was interesting when Bully. I don't know if you heard it, but Bully Ray is on the Busted Open show on SiriusXM, and they had Jericho on. And he goes, "Listen, I know you can't tell us, but is this actually going to be a legitimate, TV deal?" And Jericho goes, "Yes, when you hear the name, you will know they're being serious." So maybe he's blowing smoke up people's asses, but I don't think you sign. Now, granted, they threw a shitload of money at him, and think about all the money that TNA threw at guys like Kurt Angle and Booker T and Kevin Nash and Scott, all these guys, to basically work, 60, 70% less than they would have, full-time in the WWE. That's the only thing I'm kind of afraid of with All Elite. Everyone's getting excited and buying their AEW t-shirts and their hats, but I'm like, this thing may not. I mean, you sign a television deal based on the length of that TV deal. That's how far the investment goes, but you have to make money back on an investment because Panda Energy was very, very patient with TNA. I mean, overly patient.
Really patient.
That's where I'm intrigued, where Tony Khan's been very open, but I'm curious. And then he's obviously not going to show his cards. Like if we did an interview with him, he's not going to say, "Well, Doug, I have a timeline of about 3 years where I want to see he's not going to talk about that stuff. But there's aspects of AEW that I think is really great. But what a lot of people brush to the side and just ignore, billionaires, as much money as they have, they like to see return on investments. And what that is, I don't know. We'll see. So we'll find out.
The only guesses that I can make is that when they're saying a TV deal, I think it's more than just television. They're going to try to get this product out a la the way that Ring of Honor and New Japan and WWE are. Internet's going to play a factor into this more than an actual television deal is going to play.
True.
Okay. It depends on the infrastructure of the company and the organization itself. It depends on what they have got laid out to put their product out to as many eyes and as many ears as possible that have the means to get to it.
Sure.
Okay. The way that I'm looking at this is that they're going to place more emphasis on the internet line than they are the television line. Okay.
Yes, but television.
I mean, they got a television deal. That's great. You know what? The first network that I'm thinking of, it's going to be a television deal, the Sunshine Network. That is the cable
Yeah,
sports for Florida.
I know that ECW used to be on back in the day. Yeah.
But I mean, ECW here where I lived was Sports South, which is now Fox Sports Carolinas, and it was in that channel everywhere else that was owned by Fox.
The thing is, the cons have connections, and I think back to, and I obviously I know we need to wrap this up because we're going long, but I think about when Jeff Jarrett shopped around Global Force Wrestling and was just nothing was happening. And
No.
And I remember talking to him the year that he launched the live events at the baseball stadiums, and he told me, I don't feel like cable television is the future anymore, and I feel like we need to get on like a Netflix or a Hulu or some kind of a streaming service that a lot of people are subscribed to, but you can binge the product at your own leisure, essentially. But now we're turning back to, well, what if AEW gets a deal on TBS Tuesday nights for 2 hours? No one's going to tune in. No, I think people will tune in. I disagree with that because a lot of people watch sports on TBS and TNT, mainly basketball. It's mainly NBA focused. So I disagree with you there. What the barometer is for success is where I'm curious. Do you have to hit 1 million viewers? Do you have to hit 2 million? What's considered successful? A lot of people don't like to buy advertising on wrestling shows, despite how many people tune in. But these guys have different connections than your average company would. So I don't know. I mean, they're very entrenched in the sports world. The guy that's going to be the president, Tony Khan, his dad's the billionaire that's helping him fund this. He's a very sports and analytic and numbers. You would probably have a blast talking to Tony because he's all about analytics and numbers and all this kind of stuff. When I hear him talk, he doesn't sound like Dixie Carter. That's the vibe. I'm like, I don't want the Dixie Carter TNA vibe. Jamel said it in the chat. He's like, don't become what TNA became. And I think if you don't just...
It sounds like instead of talking to a salesman, you're talking to an accountant.
Yeah, talk to him. Yeah, the mindset of a controller or an accountant is entirely different from that of a person who's like a vice
I would
president.
love to pick his brain because right now, I mean... I totally understand doing TBS or TNT, but I'm sure he's doing his homework.
Oh, he's definitely doing his homework.
Okay,
yeah.
I am not going to doubt any decision that the Cons or AEW make when it comes to broadcasting whatever they want to do, whether it be an hour long or 2 hours long. Dear God, it might be 15 minutes. We don't know. Okay, but they're going to do their homework on this thing. Okay,
I hope so.
And it's going to be in a much broader scope than I think anyone in any little internet wrestling rumor mill can figure out.
Oh yeah, they're not. It's going to be. I think it's going to be surprising to a lot of people what they end up doing, and I'm intrigued by it. But
let the wrestling news sites deal with who's rumoring to come into the organization.
Yeah,
I'm more concerned on how the hell they're going to show off all these people that they're supposedly getting.
And from what Cody was saying, they don't want to get too reliant on veteran talent. Like, it's important to have a guy like a Chris Jericho there, but they also say, well, and let's be honest, you can pay newer, younger talent less money and save costs, because these people don't have exposure. So you can pay someone that doesn't have a lot of exposure less money, and you don't have to worry about these big fat contracts. That's what TNA ran into that issue. It's like, well, we got to have all these people all these wrestlers that people know,
name brands, name recognition. But
that had a very, very short. That had a very short time span, and then once that was over with, that was it. It was done. It was cooked at that point. A lot of people. I had a couple people message me just now about calling in. I do not have everything rigged up to take calls, unfortunately. So maybe the next time we do one of these, we could do that. I just don't have it rigged up. I'm sorry. So
I'll tell you what. Give us $200, and you can be a guest on my show.
You can be a guest on Wrestleview Weekly with Doug Lackey. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. We went really long. It is very late for Douglas. I'm an hour behind Douglas, so sorry, Doug. I know we went a little long tonight, but yeah, it's they went longer than they said they were going to. But I think
I blame the women trying to pose.
Yeah,
during every one of their frickin' entrances.
I hated that. I did not like that tonight. Should
Pop
we
the hips?
So outside of WrestleMania, should we go into the Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, expecting it to be like a 5-hour show, no matter what? Is that kind of?
Good Lord, yes.
Okay, that's pretty much going to be our
plan on midnight, big guy.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, midnight for you, 11 for me, so it works.
Well, midnight for me. That's why I'm going to take the whole. I got to take Sunday and Monday off.
I know, to recover. Exactly.
Oh boy,
that's a lot. So tomorrow night, a couple plugs, we'll get out of here. I'm actually going to be recapping Raw for Wrestleview for the first time in a while. I'm giving Mike a much-needed break because he covered TakeOver live for us on Saturday, and then he also covered the Rumble tonight for us. So,
Oh, yeah.
but Mike and Victoria will be here on the YouTube, so definitely subscribe and check it out. They are here live every Monday night after Raw.
Check me. I'm going to bomb the chat room because now that I've got my end technically rigged, one of those jokers is going to be on my show.
Okay, and we'll make that. I want to do some producing and make some stuff happen that it can be easier. So,
and they got some explaining to do.
Why?
Because they wagered my health on these women's tag team titles.
That's right. I heard about that.
I need to have a talk with them.
Speaking of Mike and Victoria had an opportunity to talk to Triple H about
which
the
was
takeover
fabulous.
show. Yes, probably the only. I asked Mike because I had my first like go out, hang out with friends, have drinks, and relax night. So I was enjoying myself Saturday night, and I texted Mike as he got on the call, and I'm like, let me guess. She was the only girl that asked a question. He goes, "Do you even have to ask that question?" I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right." Of course, she's the only girl on the conference call.
Is it safe to say now that Victoria is going to be now on all of our conference calls?
Yes, because we do need a female voice. I mean, I was talking to Mike about this. I mean, a lot of wrestling sites are just giant cockfests, and we need to have the female perspective. So yeah, we're gonna have Victoria. I'd love to have Victoria on some of these shows with us too, just to kind of shoot the shit, and of course Mike as well. But
she's bombed on my chat rooms during my shows. So yeah,
there you go.
Yep.
We'll make it happen. So they're back tomorrow night after Raw for post Raw, and then Douglas, you are back on Wednesday for Wrestleview Weekly. To
tune in live to watch me take the 3 shots that Ken Block picked.
Yeah.
For the show, and also I'm taking an additional shot because I said Bray Wyatt was going to return at the Royal Rumble, but apparently he did not.
He sure didn't. No, he sure didn't.
So I'm going to take a punishment shot for that. So 4 shots of tequila to talk about wrestling for 2 hours, all for your entertainment.
It's going to be super fun.
Oh, boy. And I'm also going to go over the whiteboard, too.
Oh, I love the whiteboard, by the way.
Oh, and by the way, I am going to New Japan Beginnings.
Oh, when is that?
That is this Friday.
This Friday. Oh,
in
fuck.
Charlotte, who we are not sure if visas have been approved.
Well, they did reopen
the government shutdown.
I thought they approved a 3-week fix if I was over the weekend.
I believe so.
But does that not affect work visas though?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so maybe we can find that out. By the way, I want to try to get you in that media room because they do a big media room. And
they do?
And I talked to somebody at New Japan, and they told me to get in touch with them this week. So if you don't hear from me by like Tuesday, slap me.
Would they be offended if I was incredibly hammered?
Yes, they would be.
Oh, okay, then I can't drink.
But it's a big media room and it's fun, so I want to get you back.
Oh,
there.
good. Okay.
So we'll have some Doug Lackey, reporter on the spot for New Japan Pro Wrestling in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I need to get a selfie stick.
Can you get the like press hat that says press on?
I want a fedora.
Yeah. Can you get the milady hat and then put the press?
Get the Yes, the press pass.
And then put your Wrestleview business card, just like tuck it into the milady hat. That would be so much fun. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be tossing that shit out like the Cheetos I tossed out. Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun. We'll get that to happen. And you'll have
this is going to be fantastic.
The next time we do a show, which I think will be the 17th of February, that's Elimination Chamber, we'll have to talk about your New Japan live experience. So we'll be back in 3 weeks. 3 weeks time.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks time. So we'll talk about your New Japan experience and anything else that's going on in the wrestling world. So there you go.
Oh, yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you for staying late. A lot of you stayed late with us live. We do appreciate that. So thank you very much. Of course, hit the goddamn subscribe button if you haven't
What's
yet.
your problem?
You literally just click the button, and that helps us dramatically. So please.
You stayed up with us.
You stayed up with us. You hung out with us. So hit the subscribe button. Of course, an audio version of this show is available on Spotify, on Google Play Store, on iTunes, everywhere that podcasts are available. Just search Wrestleview Media, and you can listen instead of staring at our dumb face. The volume is down, Eric. I turned it down. So Doug had it cranked up to 80% in the Streamlabs. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why you had it so high? It's at 80. I was like, Jesus. I dumped it to 22%, but I don't know. But yes, Jason,
as you get older, Adam, your hearing goes.
I know. Hopefully that doesn't happen for me. But yes, Jason F in the chat. We are on Spotify. Just search Wrestleview Media. And by the way, I have a little. Thank you, Suplex, for the subscribe. Hopefully, was that louder? Hopefully that wasn't as loud. Was that still loud?
No, I was just noticing like that. Oh, good, you moved the graphic.
I did. I moved it off of your face.
Thank you.
I'm going to hint something, and I'm not going to make any promises.
Uh-oh.
But we are working on a new look for Wrestleview, and it may drop this week. Thank you, Shane Bradley.
Another new look?
Well, it's the look you saw, but we've modified it. But we haven't actually.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, which I think was back in like December. It's taken us forever because we keep changing our minds. But
no, I have just seen so many looks for our website. I mean, dear Lord, my girlfriend's wardrobe closet is smaller than how many times we've changed our.
Paul Emmer in the chat, the owner and webmaster of this website, just wrote "shh" in the chat. As soon as shh. Actually, the goal was to have it ready to go by tonight. It just, between my schedule and Paul's schedule, it just doesn't happen as much as we would like. But we will do that. Thank you for all the new subs that just came in. The BAM subscribing. I'm surprised that people watch this.
Yeah, everyone subscribe. Tell your friends.
Yes,
subscribe. We talk about stupid wrestling stuff, and we don't do it all the time, so we aren't going to be filling up your inbox.
No, we're only here to cover pay-per-views, so or the occasional spot show that we do. So thank you very much.
Or every Wednesday when I get blitzed with my tequila shots because people don't know wrestling.
Exactly. Or Mondays with Victoria and Mike. So
yeah, them too.
All right, everybody, we are going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the Rumble. Hope you didn't get too angry about pro wrestling. It's just a show. It's just TV. Relax. Smile.
It's okay. The gas prices will still be low.
Yes. You'll still have shelter and food and water. Everything's going to be fine. So don't worry about it.
Just have a burrito. Just have a burrito. You'll be fine.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you for, what did we say, 3 weeks? Elimination Chamber? Yeah.
In 3 weeks.
February the 17th. We'll be here.
In 3 weeks.
And a potential podcast
with
Paul
immediately following Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I got to do something.
We got to talk to our significant others about that.
Yeah. I don't like to do the chocolates and the flowers, but it's cliched out. But
I'm going to have to really pay off on this one to tell you, okay, honey, here's all your shit. Now I've got a podcast to do about men in stretchy pants.
Now leave me alone. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, everybody. Be safe, be well. We will talk to you in a few weeks for the Elimination Chambers. Final comments, Douglas? Just bye? Just the groan?
No, just bye. I'm not looking forward to this tequila at all.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye.